저희가 그 두 번째 세션으로 함께 만나려고 합니다. 2020 DMZ 국제평화회의 두 번째 세션으로 함께 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 처음 세션과 마찬가지로 국경갈등지역의 평화운동에 대해서 이야기를 나누고 있는데요. 오후의 세션에서는 저희가 파키스탄과 인도의 접경 지역에 대한 평화 문제에 대해서 이야기를 함께 하고자 합니다. 우선은 두 번째 세션을 진행하기 전에요. 오신 분들이 어떤 분들이신지 좀 소개하고 인사 나누는 시간을 좀 가졌으면 좋겠다는 생각이 들어요. 그래서 여기 계신 분들을 저보다 훨씬 더 잘 알고 계시는 정지성 목사님께서 오신 분들 같이 인사 나누시고 난 다음에 그 다음에 본격적으로 세션을 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 네.
자, 여러분들 환영합니다. 오늘 이제 한국 시간은 이제 점심 후 시간입니다. 카시미르 그 파키스탄하고 인디아는 아마 지금 오전 시간으로 알고 있습니다. 여기 들어오신 분들을 오늘 아침에는 이제 많은 분들이 들어오셨는데 지금 또 일 때문에 나가 계십니다. 그래서 지금 이 시간에는 잠깐 여기 들어와신 분들이 어떤 분들인지 서로 소개하고 잠깐 인사하고 우리 조영민 선생님이 사회를 보면서 세션을 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 우선 제가 보니까 사또상 들어와 있습니다. 사또상
네.
듣고 있으세요?
네, 듣고 있습니다.
네. 안녕하세요 한번 해주시고 그걸 끄세요. 네.
네.
안녕하세요 한번 하시고 네, 껐고요. 그 다음에 최규훈 목사님 들어와 계십니다. 최규훈 목사님 계세요 지금? 여기에는 들어와 계신데 지금 아마 잠깐 자리 비우신 것 같고. Hi, Father Dr. James Channan. How are you?
예, 반갑습니다.
Yeah, hi, I'm fine. So nice to join for this conference. I'm very happy.
Great. Okay. 그리고 우리 김영식 목사님, say hi 해주세요. 열어주셔서.
네, 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다.
예, 여기 셰난하고 저 인도 분들 있으니까 한번 영어로도 해주세요. Hello 한번 해주세요.
Hi, nice to meet you. Grace from Korea.
네, 셰난. 그리고 백경천 목사님 와 계십니다. 백경천 목사님 들으시면은 잠깐 음소거해서 인사하시고 들어가시면 됩니다.
안녕하세요. 백경천입니다.
반갑습니다. 네. 그리고 우리 박만규 이사장님 계속 계십니다. 아까 얘기했고 그리고 Qutub 뭄바이 인디아 우리 스피커 say hi. 여기 좀 늦네요. 그리고 김규봉 father, 캐톨릭 father입니다. 김규봉 신부님. Korean Catholic father is peacemaker. 규봉 김 한번 hello 한번 해주세요. 김규봉 신부님.
Father Kim, 안녕하세요.
Yes, thank you. Greetings from Pakistan.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Channan.
Good to see you.
그리고
Yes.
이게 갑자기 이게 꺼졌네요. 여기 보니까 우리 임효숙 박사님 자연과학자인데 저 우주 천문대에서
항공우주연구원.
예?
항공우주연구원이요.
한국우주연구원의
예.
임효숙 박사님 인사해 주세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
네.
Hello. Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah.
반갑습니다. 우리
I'm very happy
과학자로서
to join this meeting.
오케이. 반갑고요. 그리고 조금 전에 우리 윤길상 목사님 계셨는데
네, 여기 있습니다. 반갑습니다.
네, 안녕하세요.
네,
감사합니다.
네, 수고하십니다.
거긴 지금
네.
몇 시인가요?
이제 밤 9시 넘었습니다.
네.
미국 서부 시간으로 15일입니다.
감사합니다.
네, 반갑습니다. 정목.
네, 그리고 김규봉 신부님 지금 들어왔습니까?
네, 들어왔습니다.
아, 그래. 예. 안녕하세요, 김규봉 신부님. 네.
안녕하세요.
그리고
네, 안녕하세요.
그렇게 계시고 꺼주시고요. 그 다음에 김기리 사제님, 김기리 신부님, 성공의 앵글리칸 프리스트.
안녕하세요.
네,
김기리입니다. 반갑습니다.
네, 반갑습니다. 그 다음에 우리 남부원 사무총장님, 아시아 퍼시픽 사무총장님, 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. 홍콩에서 인사드립니다. 반갑습니다.
네.
인기 너무 많으신데요?
그래요. 그리고 황필규 목사님.
네, 반갑습니다. 전옥희 사모님, 박만규 목사님, 이충재, 김기리, 백경천, 남부원. 와, 반갑습니다. everybody.
Everybody, yes.
반갑습니다.
So
그리고
nice.
우리 김상균 프로듀서, 저널리스트 김상균 선생님 들어와 계십니다. 코리안 저널리스트. 한번 인사해 주세요, 김상균 선생님. 자리를 비우셨나요? 아니, 계신데 네. 자, 그리고 우리 여기 이현기 교수님, 프로페서 이현기, say hi, hello 해주세요.
네, 반갑습니다. Nice to meet you.
네, 마이크 이따가 말씀하실 때 마이크 켜고 끝나면은 이렇게 닫는 연습도 지금 하고 있는 겁니다. 그리고 우리 박만규 이사장님 아까 했고, 우리 오키 전 여기 계시는 say hello 해주시고, 그 다음에 미리암, 오케이, say hello. Yeah. 미리암 from Zimbabwe.
Hello.
네, 이걸 키고 해야 되는데 그렇게 넘어가고요. 그 다음에 큐튜브 문바이 여기 들어와 있다 계시고. 미리암, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
이렇게 됐고, 그 다음에 또 누가 계시냐면요. 막스 에디고, hi, you are there? Max.
Yes, I'm here. Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Max Edigo?
Yes, yes.
From Cambodia.
Yes.
네, 지금 연결됐고요. 그 다음에 충젤리 여기 계시고, 또 누가 들어와 있나요, 지금? 유시경 신부님 계세요? 없고, 우리 전영숙 선생 들어왔으면은 say hello 해주시고, 그 다음에 코니 say hi to everyone. 카메라 없고요.
니달이 지금 접속했어요.
니달. 그럼 니달 하고 이제 시작하면 되겠네요. 니달, welcome.
Good afternoon, friends.
Say hi, everyone. 안녕하세요,
Hi.
니달.
안녕하세요.
네. 그러면 여기에 지금 오후 세션에 있는 카시미르, 파키스탄, 인디아, 그리고 팔레스타인의 니달, 스피커 니달이 함께 하고 있고, 지금 또 많은 참가자들이 있습니다. 이번 카시미르 분쟁과 평화운동에 대해서는 우리 조용미 선생님, 여성평화운동네트워크 집행위원장 조용미 선생님이 이렇게 사회를 이끌어 주시겠습니다. 또 새로 오시는 분이 있으면 그때 한번 해주시기 부탁합니다.
네, 고맙습니다. 우리 이 두 번째 세션 진행하면서 다 같이 환영의 박수 한번 보내주시면 어떨까요? 서로를 위해서. 네. 자, 화기애애하게 또 여러분들이 어떤 분들이신지 소개도 같이 나누는 시간을 가졌는데요. 두 번째 세션을 본격적으로 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 두 번째 세션은 아시는 것처럼 카슈미르의 갈등과 평화에 대한 이야기입니다. 여러분 아시겠지만 카슈미르는 인도와 파키스탄 북부에 있는 곳으로 한반도하고 굉장히 비슷한 면적, 크기의 면적을 가지고 있습니다. 그래서 인도와 파키스탄이 갈라지면서 접경지역 자치구에 대한 어떤 분쟁이라고 하는 것이 지속화되어졌고 역사 속에서 지금까지도 현재 진행형인 곳이기도 합니다. 그래서 분쟁과 분단 그리고 분열이라고 하는 것이 얼마나 많은 민간인들에게 아픔을 주고 있는 것인지에 대한 부분 그리고 더 나아가서 어떻게 화해와 평화를 이루게 될 수 있을 것인지에 대한 길을 모색하는 그러한 시간으로 두 번째 세션을 마련하도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 함께 해주시는 연사분들을 좀 소개해 드려야 될 것 같은데요. 첫 번째 연사분은 제임스 챗난 박사님이십니다. 파키스탄 라홀의 평화센터 소장님이신데요. 소장님 인사 말씀 잠깐 듣고 우리가 목소리로 인사 여러분들에게 함께 전달해 주시겠어요? 챗난 박사님 부탁드립니다. 네, 마이크를 켜시고 챗난 박사님 혹시 들리세요? 제 목소리? 네. 인사 말씀 짧게 부탁드릴게요.
You asking me to do something?
Yeah.
English?
Yeah. Would you please say hello to all of us?
Yes, greetings from Pakistan. My name is Father James Channan. I am Director of Peace Center in Lahore, Pakistan, and also Regional Coordinator of the United Religions Initiative. It's great joy for me to participate in this international conference and also the issues, three main issues that our world is confronted with. So good to see there's so many participants from different countries, and I'm sure this conference will be very enriching, and myself and others, we will all contribute towards peace and stability in the world. Thanks to Dr. Young and to all who are the organizers of this conference. Thank you.
네, 고맙습니다. 박수 보내주시기 바랍니다. 두 번째 연사분 잠깐 소개해 드리겠습니다. 쿠투브 자한 선생님이신데요. 유엔협의기구 URI아시아실행위원회 사무총장보이십니다. 네, 인사 함께 나누어 주시겠어요? 짧게. 아, 그래요?
Namaste everyone. I'm Qutub from Mumbai, and I'm a regional coordinator for United Religions Initiative, which is based in Mumbai. And also I'm an Islamic feminist and try to write articles and do some research studies to empower Muslim women in my community. So thank you for inviting me for this very wonderful event, and I'm looking forward to learn from each one of you. Thank you so much.
네, 고맙습니다. 굉장히 이른 시간이신데 함께 해주셔서 너무 감사하고요. 우리가 박수로 좀 환영해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 자, 그 다음에 저희랑 너무나 친숙하고 너무나 가까우신 넘버원 선생님 함께 인사 나누셔야 될 것 같은데요. 오늘 토론으로 함께 해주십니다. 홍콩에 계시고 아시아태평양 YMCA 사무총장이십니다. 남부원 선생님 함께 인사 나눠주세요.
네, 반갑습니다. 여러분 초대해 주셔서 감사하고요. 두 분 발제 듣고 간단히 토론에 참여하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. 네. 자, 그럼 본격적으로 발제에 들어가도록 하겠습니다. 발제를 맡아주신 두 분은요. 미리 좋은 화질의 영상을 저희한테 보내주셨어요. 그래서 영상으로 우리가 발제를 듣고 이후에 함께 이야기 나누는 시간을 갖겠습니다. 그러면 첫 번째로 제임스 챗난 박사님의 발제를 함께 하도록 하겠습니다.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I'm very grateful to Dr. Youngmi, Director of our Peace School, for organizing 2020 DMZ International Peace Conference. The theme of learning from peace-building activities, making cooperation networks, and creating joint action equals hand-in-hand peace movement. I have found all themes of the conference very relevant to our present times, and if these conflicts are resolved and peace movements keep on playing their integral role, then there will be lasting peace between India and Pakistan, North Korea, Israel, and Palestine. In fact, in these countries, there will be peace in the whole world. These are three major burning issues of our planet today, and very often when problems, clashes, and conflicts take place in these countries and territories, they grip the attention of the entire globe. Some of these conflicts are based on religion and ethnicities, and these remain unsolved for the past several decades. These conflicts need much more mediation of the world leaders, the United Nations, and superpowers. These efforts to solve the conflicts through military or civilian armed groups have resulted in the killing of thousands of people as well as destruction of properties worth billions. Thousands of children and women have also been killed in such encounters. There is a real need to seek peaceful conflict resolutions, have dialogue on respect the sovereignty of each other, commit to avoid conflicts and confrontation, and put themselves for lasting peace, justice, equality, and freedom of religion and religious practices. There is a need to respect the United Nations resolutions and act accordingly. And if acted upon, I believe these can bring solutions to these issues, which can bring stability and prosperity in these disturbed regions, and will also give a sense of peace to the whole world and relief as well. Peace movements from the world can also contribute immensely to solve these issues through dialogue and peaceful means. Along with political leaders, human rights activists, promoters of people with harmony, religious freedom, and peace can bring forth many positive results. All of these groups and organizations must make every effort to resolve conflict and appeal to the concerning countries never to go for war are destruction and instability. And particularly if and when these countries which have nuclear weapons and atom bombs, they can cause the killings of millions of people within seconds. And unimaginable destruction which can go beyond repair and replacement. We had an example of the deploying of bombs on Nagasaki and atom bomb that caused immense destruction and killing of innocent human persons. Therefore, it is a matter of grave concern, and the UN and the world leaders must seriously note of this, that if, for example, India and Pakistan will engage in full-fledged wars, that the destruction and loss of humans can be very devastating, as both countries are ours. In establishing lasting peace and to resolve all conflicts through peaceful means and dialogue, the organizations such as Border Peace, World Peace Foundation, Prize, World Peace Trade Society, URI, and Peace Center can play a pivotal role in bringing lasting peace. I would like to focus now on Kashmir issue. Kashmir is the major border between Pakistan and India, as well as the Muslims of Kashmir. It got right at the time when Pakistan and India got independence as sovereign states in 1947 as a result of the division of the subcontinent of India from the British Raj. India was divided into present-day India, and Pakistan had two parts, East Pakistan and West Pakistan. The divide also caused a lot of bloodshed, resulting in the killing of about 200,000 people, whereas about 14 million people are thought to have abandoned their homes and migrated either to Pakistan or to Indian territory. But Pakistan and India got independence in 1947. At that time, Jammu and Kashmir, the largest of the 10 states, had predominantly Muslim population, and even now 70% of the population of Kashmir consists of Muslims. And at that time, in 1947, Kashmir was ruled by the Hindu Maharaja Hari Singh. He decided to stay independent because he expected that the state's Muslims would be unhappy with the accession to India, and the Hindus and Sikhs would become vulnerable if we joined Pakistan. On 11th August, the Maharaja dismissed his Prime Minister Ram Chandra, who had advocated independence. Observers and scholars interpret as a tilt towards accession to India. Pakistan decided to preempt this possibility by wrestling Kashmir by force if necessary, by getting Kashmir by force if necessary. After the partition of India, a rebellion in the western district of the state, Pakistani tribal movement began. Due to the Hindu ruler of Jammu to join India and starting the Indo-Pakistani War of 1947, which was ended in 1948, and there was a resolution passed by the United Nations to end war. Unfortunately, between Pakistan and India, there have been 3 wars because of Kashmir. First war was in 1947, second war was in 1965, and the third war was in 1971. So these wars have caused a lot of damage to both nations. In 1971 war, Pakistan lost East Pakistan, which is Bangladesh now. UNO has been trying its best to resolve this issue as it passed resolution number 47 on 31st of April 1948. And the main idea was so that people of Kashmir may have the right of self-determination if they want to go with India, or they want to go with Pakistan, or they want to have independent Jammu and Kashmir. But unfortunately, the resolution of the United Nations has been not acted upon, and should remain still there. From time to time, UNO has been raising concern, and there have been talks going on in the United Nations how to resolve this issue of Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan has been always favoring that there should be self-determination by the people of Kashmir so that they can decide what they want to do. And there have been also efforts made by the Pakistan and Prime Minister of India so that this issue can be resolved. And there was also Shimla agreement between Indira Gandhi, then Prime Minister of India, and Prime Minister of Pakistan, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, but that also did not last for long. And as a result of that Shimla agreement, 90,000 prisoners of war held by India were given back to Pakistan. And also there was 5,139 square miles of Pakistan territory which was occupied by India was given back to Pakistan. My dear brothers and sisters, Your Excellencies, it was in 2005 that General Pervez Musharraf as well as other Pakistani leaders sought to resolve the issue through formula and roadmap based on the Dixon Plan. The draft formula assigns the draft to India, Baltistan to Pakistan, proposes a plebiscite in the Kashmir Valley and splits Jammu into two halves. On 5th of December 2006, Pakistani President Pervez Musharraf told an Indian TV channel that Pakistan would give up its claim on Kashmir if India accepted some of these proposals, including a phased withdrawal of troops. Self-governance for locals, no changes in the borders of Kashmir, and joint supervision mechanism involving India, Pakistan, and Kashmir. Musharraf stated that he was ready to give up the United Nations resolution regarding Kashmir. And it was in August 2019, at home, Minister Amit Shah of India told Parliament a decree abolishing Article 370 of the Constitution of India that gave a measure of autonomy to the Muslim majority in Iran region had been signed by President and the measure came into force at once. That means Kashmir was denied as independent, as a state, sovereign state, and it was to be ruled by the capital of India, New Delhi. And not only that, we have seen that from August 2019, there has been no internet service, and the cell phone was also blocked, and people are and for the whole world. Now, regarding Pakistan's view, Pakistan maintains that Kashmir is the regular reign of Pakistan, and a currently disputed territory whose final status must be determined for the future of Kashmir. Pakistan's claims to the disputed region are based on the rejection of Indian claims to Kashmir, namely the instrument of accession. Pakistan insists that the Maharaja was not a popular leader and was regarded as a terror by most Kashmiris. Pakistan maintains that the Maharaja used brutal force to suppress the wishes of the population. Pakistan says that the popular Kashmiri insurgency demonstrates that the Kashmiri people no longer wish to remain with India. Pakistan suggests that this means that Kashmir either wants to be Pakistan or wants to be independent. According to the two-nation theory, one of the principles that is cited for the partition and created India and Pakistan, Kashmir should have been because it has a Muslim majority. He has shown disregard for the resolutions of the United Nations Security Council and the United Nations Commission in India and Pakistan by failing to hold a retreat to determine the future allegiance of the state. My brothers and sisters, the reason for India's disregard for the resolution of the United Nations Security council was given by India's Defense Minister Channan, who said Kashmir would want to join Pakistan and no Indian government responsible for agreeing to establish it would survive. Pakistan was of the view that the Maharaja of Kashmir had no right to call in the Indian army because it held that the Maharaja of Kashmir was not a hereditary ruler and was merely British appointed. After Ranjit Singh, who ruled the area before the British conquest. Pakistan has also noted widespread use of extrajudicial killings in Indian administered Kashmir, carried out by Indian security forces by claiming they were caught up in the encounters with militants. These encounters are commonplace in Indians administered Kashmir. The encounters were largely uninvestigated by the authorities, and the perpetrators are spared criminal prosecutions. Many human rights organizations and peace activist organizations have strongly condemned Indian troops for widespread rape and murder of innocent civilians by these civilians of Kashmir are being militant. The Kashmiris and Pakistanis claim that over 85,000 Kashmiris have been killed to date. And there are, according to Imran Khan, Prime Minister of Pakistan, there are over 900,000 people. As I said earlier, former President of Pakistan, General Musharraf, on 16th of October 2014 said, Pakistan needs to incite those fighting in Kashmir. But for the resolution was made, the Prime Ministers of Pakistan made speeches in the United Nations to emphasize this issue. Our Prime Ministers of Pakistan have highlighted this issue, including Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, and there have been also meetings between the Prime Ministers of Pakistan and Prime Ministers of India. I can give the example of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi and Benazir Bhutto, General Pervez Musharraf and Manmohan Singh, Yusuf Raza Gilani and Manmohan Singh, Nawaz Sharif and Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Nawaz Sharif and Narendra Modi. And these are the names of the Prime Ministers of Pakistan and India. And Modi also came to Pakistan at the wedding of Nawaz Sharif, who was the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Present Prime Minister Imran Khan extended hand for dialogue and have called at least twice Narendra Modi, so without success. Imran Khan also made a very passionate speech in the United Nations last year to stress to solve the issue of Kashmir and that how world, the United Nations, USA President Donald Trump can play the role of a mediator. The position of Pakistan still remains that the issue of Kashmir must be resolved through dialogue and not war. And now I want to stress that how we can play our role as peace activists. There have been always efforts being made to resolve this issue through peaceful means, as United Nations resolution and Security Council has urged to resolve this issue through peaceful means.
네네네. 네. 아, 여러분 죄송합니다. 사실 이게 라이브로 진행이 되는 거잖아요. 그래서 사실 인터넷 상태가 조금 안 좋은 것 같아서 저희가 중간에 약간 중단을 했는데요. 잠깐 시스템 점검을 하고 여러 선생님들도 지금까지 말씀 나눈 거 다시 한번 리마인드 하시면서 네, 그러면서 잠깐 기다려 주시면 다시 영상을 다시 틀도록 하겠습니다. 네, 많은 분들이 약간 음성이 끊긴다고 하시기도 하고 통역도 오디오가 겹쳐서 들린다고 하셔가지고 저희가 시스템을 다시 한번 점검하고 있거든요. 불편하지 않게 들으실 수 있도록 조금 점검하는 시간 동안 기다려 주시기를 부탁드립니다.
From 1949 to date, the Prime Minister of Pakistan and Indian Prime Ministers have been having some encounters and meetings to end this dispute, but it is still going on. Now it seems that the status of occupied Kashmir has become more uncertain, that it will be never decided according to the wishes of Kashmir, with majority of 70% Muslims. Kashmir is not considered to be a disputed state by India, and that is why it's now under the direct control of capital New Delhi. Pakistan keeps on claiming and propagating that people of Kashmir must get freedom from the Indian occupation. The Muslims of Kashmir are suffering due to ongoing curfew over there since last many years, curfew since last August 2019. Peace activists and organizations should keep on playing their vital role so that these countries do not go to war and never think of nuclear war. Both countries must show maximum restraint to avoid war and resolve this issue through dialogue. The UN can still play a vital role to settle these disputes through peaceful means and dialogue. There is a need of having international conferences, as we have now in South Korea, to solve this issue amicably. There is a need to discuss this issue on international forums so that India and Pakistan can sign a pact of not starting war first, and also sign anti-nuclear treaties. And I appeal to both countries never to wage war, and as far as possible, lessen defense budgets and concentrate more on the betterment of the people and development, education, and medical care. How nice it would be if both countries open borders to have cultural programs, exchange of cultural, educational, and literary programs so that poets, writers, singers, musicians, and sports persons can come and play sports, for example, kabaddi, tennis, wrestling, and cricket, and enjoy cultural festivals such as a spring festival called Basant, and Holi and Vaisakhi. We have to gain from and learn from each other. For this, our peace groups need to meet very often and keep on playing a pivotal role to bring conflict over Kashmir, North Korea and South Korea, Israel and Palestine will bring forth positive results, and one day there will be peace in these steps.
이제 들리시나요? 제 목소리가 통역자분들이 안 들리신대요. 들리신대요? 네. 이제 들리시나요? 네. 자, 예. 저희가 파키스탄과 인도 사이에 그리고 카슈미르를 두고 분쟁 문제를 겪는 것에 이야기를 나누었고요. 특별히 종교, 영토 그리고 이런 것들과 모두가 연결이 돼 있는데 사실은 가장 피해를 많이 본 것은 그 자치구에 살고 있는 많은 주민들, 민간인들이다라고 하는 것에 대한 것을 우리가 알게 되었고 더 나아가서 이러한 분쟁을 해결하기 위해서 할 수 있는 것들에 대한 이야기들을 특별히 11가지로 너무나 세부적으로 저희한테 제안을 주셨습니다. 그런데 이 제안들을 들으면서 사실은 한국도 남과 북이 잘 만나지 못하고 있는 상황이기 때문에 저희한테도 주는 시사점이 굉장히 많다라고 하는 생각이 들었습니다. 자, 모든 분들 질문사항이나 이런 것들이 있으시면요. 좀 생각해 두셨다가 이후에 저희가 함께 토론 후에 함께 이야기 나누는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. 자, 그러면 두 번째 연사를 모시도록 하겠습니다. 쿠투브 자한 선생님 영상으로 함께 선생님 혹시 괜찮으시다면 저희에게 실시간으로 스피치를 해주실 수 있으실까요? 쿠투브 자한 선생님. 저희가 영상을 송출하는 과정에서 약간 소리가 잘 안 들리거나 끊기는 현상이 계속 발생하고 있는 것 같아서요. 선생님 혹시 가능하시다면 저희한테 직접 발제를 해주시면 좋을 것 같습니다.
Alright, I'm going to share the screen of my article. You all can see?
네, 자, 화면 공유하는데요. 보이시나요?
My article basically highlights the conflict. Shall I continue?
네, 제가 계속 해도 될까요?
Okay. Basically, it highlights the recent decision by the government of India of complete lockdown of the valley. And yes, the scenario is not very hopeful right now. So my article basically highlights the background of the conflict and what is the present situation on Kashmir issue. India has been reeling under Kashmir problem since its partition period. Since its partition in 1947, under the partition plan provided by the Indian Independence Act, Kashmir was free to accede to either India or Pakistan. Since the accession of the Kashmir region in 1947 from the ruler of Kashmir, the Maharaja Hari Singh, who initially wanted Kashmir to become an independent, but in October 1947 he chose to join India in return for its help against an invasion of tribesmen from Pakistan. The accession treaty was signed on 27th October 1947, soon after India's independence from British rule on 15th August 1947. The instrument of accession signed by Maharaja Hari Singh has become the object of a never-ending controversy, unlike similar accession instruments signed by other princely states. Every one of the 140 princely states that signed the IOO instrument of accession with the Dominion of India agreed to the same terms and conditions as Jammu and Kashmir. The IOA specified the three subjects on which Jammu and Kashmir would transfer its power to the government of India, that is foreign affairs, defense, and communication. The remaining powers were retained by the Kashmir ruler. The Maharaja of Jammu and Kashmir finally accepted the scheme of administration laid down by the new constitution. The then Prince of Jammu and Kashmir, who exercised all the powers delegated to him by the king, issued a proclamation on November 25, 1949, stating that the soon-to-be adopted Constitution of India would govern the relations between Jammu and Kashmir and the Union only to such an extent as its provision would apply to Jammu and Kashmir. Article 306A, which would later become an Article 370, laid down the terms and conditions of this relationship. Interestingly, the provision under Article 370 were intended to be transitional and temporary in nature. Authors on Kashmir issues like Menon Tone contains a detailed account of this development. Subsequently, A.G. Nurani, another author and experts on Kashmir conflict, have extensively dwelt upon the manner in which the protection provided by Article 370 was eroded from the very beginning. Now, what was Article 370? Jammu and Kashmir, the article conferred power on Jammu and Kashmir to have a separate constitution, a state flag, and an autonomy over the internal administration of the state. The Constituent Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir, after its establishment, was empowered to recommend the articles of Indian Constitution that should be applied to the state or to abrogate the Article 370 altogether. After consultation with the state's Constituent Assembly, the 1954 presidential order was issued specifying the article of the Indian Constitution. The Constituent Assembly dissolved itself without recommending the abrogation of the Article 370, and the article was deemed to have become a permanent feature of the Indian Constitution. This article, along with Article 35A, defined that Jammu and Kashmir state's residents live under separate set of laws, including those related to citizenship, ownership of property, and fundamental rights as compared to the resident of other Indian states. Under various Indian National Congress Party-led central government and locally elected state government, such as those of National Conference between 1954 and 2011, India used the provision of Article 370 to issue presidential order to extend the Indian Constitution to Jammu and Kashmir with the concurrence of the state government, therefore reducing the state's autonomy. These past presidential orders under Article 370 are also controversial and a subject of the Kashmir dispute. Political scientists like Sumantara Bose, a Kashmir scholar, sums up the politics of the period of 1953-63, during which Bashir Ghulam Muhammad served as the Prime Minister of Jammu and Kashmir in these words. Bakshi Ghulam Muhammad's term in office lasted a full decade until October 1963. The sequence of events during that decade strongly suggests a contractual relationship between Bakshi and the government of India, whereby he would be allowed to run an unrepresentative, unaccountable government in Srinagar in return for facilitating IJK's integration in India on New Delhi's term. The result was twofold: a crippling of law and a democratic institution in IJK, and erosion of IJK's autonomy achieved as required by Article 370. With the concurrence of IJK's government, which consisted of motley clique of New Delhi's client politicians. Complete autonomy has eluded Kashmir for long, no matter which political party forms the government. Screening the election manifesto of the major political parties in India like BJP and Congress found that the latter remained silent on Article 370 in 2009 and 2014, and the BJP, on the other hand, batted for abrogation of the article in its party manifesto around the same time. The 1947-48 India-Pakistan war ended in a ceasefire, but the Kashmir solution remained elusive. A key condition for the plebiscite was withdrawal of Pakistan from the area under its control, and India withdrawing individuals who were not residents of the state. However, neither of these happened. Instead, both sides firmed up their presence in the area under their control. India took the Kashmir issue to the UN for prompt and effective action, but as pointed out by the scholars, the big power ensured that the issue lingered on and became a part of global concern on conflict. Now, what was the UN resolution on Kashmir? The UN resolution on Kashmir hardly had any impact in resolving the rights of Kashmiris. Let's have a look on what was the UN resolution. The resolution of UNSC passed in respect of Kashmir dispute belong to this area of UNSC practice 17 resolutions passed by UNSC during 1947 to 57, and UN resolution 47, UNSC resolution number 47 adopted on April 21 referred to the earlier resolution 39, whereby the UN Commission for India and Pakistan was established and authorized to investigate the dispute of the facts submitted for the resolution to the UN. And UNSC resolution 47 urged India and Pakistan to hold a plebiscite after restoration of law and order. The UNSCIO passed a resolution on January 5, 1949 that provided the mechanism for holding a free and impartial plebiscite in Kashmir. In course of time, the dispute increased to a level that both India and Pakistan started establishing their military presence in the region. After multiple rounds of proposal for demilitarization, which were rejected by both India and Pakistan, the UN Commission proposed for arbitration. Both India and Pakistan raised objection to the resolution 47. India objected first that the resolution placed India and Pakistan on an equal footing, ignoring the complaints of Pakistani aggression and Kashmir's legal accession to India. Secondly, it objected to the absence of allowance for its retained troop in the state for its defense. It also felt the requirement of a coalition government would put Sheikh Abdullah, the Prime Minister of Kashmir then, in an impossible position. It said that the power conferred on the plebiscite administrator were far too wide and undermined the state's sovereignty. It felt that provision for the return of all refugees was unrealistic. Finally, India wanted Pakistan to be excluded from the conduct of the plebiscite. Since the failure of UN mediation, there has been increased number of violent movement and agitation against the government of India. Insurgencies, militant activities, and communalization of Kashmir issue by the right-wing parties were in full swing. Extremist groups emerged and started recruiting Kashmiris for their own vested interest. There were efforts in the past for bilateral dialogue between India and Pakistan and various agreements signed for the improvement of the ties. However, in 2014, the Bharatiya Janata Party, a Hindu right-wing party, won the mandate and formed an alliance. As soon as they came to power, they changed their stand on foreign policies and domestic issues. The BJP government not only declared repealing of Article 370, which was also one of the main goals in their party manifesto, but also halted all bilateral dialogues with Pakistan. Now the lockdown. In the morning of August 5, when Home Minister Amit Shah put forth the proposal in Rajya Sabha, which is upper house of the Indian Parliament, to render Article 370 toothless. Around the same time, very famous Hindu pilgrimage Amarnath Yatra was taking place in Kashmir. Pilgrims were from all parts of India and world converged to visit the holiest temple in the Himalayas. A week before tabling the proposal in Parliament, the central government first issued notice to the authorities that there are intelligence reports of terrorist attack on the pilgrims. An emergency was declared by the Indian Army in Kashmir. Special buses and trains were arranged to evacuate the pilgrims and other tourists. The Kashmir Valley was completely closed and all transportation service was stopped. Subsequently, the abrogation of article took place with strong opposition from the opposition parties. Internet service snapped, prohibitory orders issued, and political leaders, including former chief ministers of the state, put under house arrest. It will go down in the history as the day when the Narendra Modi government revoked special status to the Jammu and Kashmir and bifurcated the state into two union territories. On August 5, 2019, the entire Kashmir was locked down. 7 million people were locked into their homes. The present right-wing government was very clear about their stance on Kashmir. Abrogation of controversial Article 370 has always been one of the core issues of Bharatiya Janata Party. The team of the opposition leader who went to Kashmir after the public invitation by the governor of Jammu and Kashmir were detained at the Srinagar airport and was not allowed to visit. Many other leaders filed PIL in Supreme Court to seek permission to visit Kashmir. Elected Kashmiri leaders who once formed government in alliance with BJP too has been under house arrest. There are many reports and news from international media which highlights the plights of the Kashmiris. US-based organization Genocide Watch has issued an alert on 22nd August 2019 and warned the widespread violation of fundamental human rights in Kashmir, a clear indication of an impending genocide. The New York Times, Washington Post, BBC, for example, are reporting gross violation of human rights, religious freedom, free expression, and movement in Kashmir. The nuclear war threat has also increased between India and Pakistan. The government of India's decision of abrogation of Article 370 came with a communication blockade, heavy military presence, severe repression, and denial of fundamental rights. Regardless of their political inclination, every Kashmiri felt that they have lost their identity. According to the fact-finding team led by Advocate Ramkrishnan and Nandini, when they interviewed Kashmiris, it came out that not a single Kashmiri were happy or support this decision. Every single Kashmiri wants freedom, a complete autonomy that is not being with either India or Pakistan. People are resisting through Satyagraha, a Gandhian way to protest non-violently and civil disobedience. The entire valley is in complete strike by the local despite severe economic and educational losses. The entire leadership is present from the mainstream party to the separatist parties. The Satyagraha is carried out by the masses and it is voluntary. It is not happening on the direction of the militant group, which is wrongly projected by the Indian media. The communication blackout and the mass arrest of the mainstream leader is a new and unprecedented. The government claims that there is no open resistance and no loss of life. The Kashmiri press is heavily censored that claim everything is normal and peaceful. The government runs full-page advertisement every day telling people the benefit of not having 370 status. The rural housing scheme, toilet scheme, and other benefits which are not required for the Kashmiris who are living in a Pakka house with toilets. There is no poverty in Kashmir as such to seek such benefits. The economy is run by the locals and introducing outside companies will ruin their business opportunity and economy as a whole. The important question is the process of stripping 370 status where no consensus taken from the opposition parties and post-lockdown scenario have developed anti-India sentiments. Authoritarian approach adopted to draft democratic process. Under the report by the human rights group very comprehensively published the plights of Kashmiri post-lockdown. For example, the national media journalists were tortured and abused. The high courts are hardly functioning. People cannot approach court to address their human rights violation. Disruption of livelihood and commerce can be seen. The very disturbing fact is that there is a massive militarization. The impunity of the army, the police, and other agencies in violations of their bodies and minds has caused more anger against the forces. After abrogation, the city bears the look of an extended army camp and red zone, more military presence can be seen. 9.5 lakh close to 1 million armed personnel are stationed in the valley alone. The surveillance and control by the army is unprecedented. It is as if endless war is waged against Kashmiris over 2 generations. Common sentiments is against the armed force and widespread violence on the part of armed force, including enforced disappearance, death, unmarked mass grave, custodial torture, and sexual violence, which the army and Indian state denies. There are more such stories of torture and fear methods by the armed force that people are scared to send their male members in the family for any kind of work. Several people who have been kept in jail either illegally or with documentation were made to pay for their half-cooked meal, inedible meal, while in jail and lockup. A new practice of community bond has been introduced along with the illegal detention. The superintendent police demands 50-60 residents from the community appear before him and take the responsibility of the detainees. Also, the night raids are carried out as a mode of collective punishment, which is not sudden and unplanned, but designed to terrorize the people. The force storms into the house, vandalized and damaged their electronics and furniture. Death and pellet guns injuries so far reported are 3,967 and 600 cases are pending of State Human Rights Commission from 2016 to 2019. Conclusion. Post-lockdown, there had been several public interest litigation filed and the sabotaging of constitutional rights were brought before the apex court. Some of these matters were habeas corpus, challenging detention, communication blockade, and clampdown. While other groups outside Kashmir also challenged the abrogation of 370 and the reorganization of a state of Jammu and Kashmir, there can be little doubt that Supreme Court reinforced deference through its failure to take suo motu action against Indian government for placing 1.25 crores people under siege and suspending their fundamental right. There is an opposition by the various sections of Indian society, including human rights organizations and groups. The only resolution right now is restoring all constitutional and legal provisions that were available to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. This would require the repealing of the parliamentary decision, or can say unilateral decision by the present government. Government must release all the prisoners, lift the lockdown in the form of barricades, communication, transport, and restore socio-political and economic rights. To resolve the Kashmir issue, government must demilitarize the region and invite transparent dialogue with the people of Jammu and Kashmir or their representative. The government need to respect the democratic will of the people in accordance with the human rights and international law. In the given scenario, the steps towards peace look bleak. Since the partition of India and Pakistan on religious line, the Hindu majority religion ideology organizations and political party based on Hindutva ideology have stated that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral and inseparable part of India. The nationalist government of India shows duality in approach. the government is ready to sit and dialogue with Afghan Taliban for Afghanistan, but is not willing to invite Kashmiri separatists. The willingness for peaceful approach is lacking, and the atmosphere of fear has caused paranoia and a complete distrust among the masses and leadership. Unfortunately, there is no genuine approach to attain peace in Kashmir. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry for any mistakes while reading my article, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
네, 저희에게 정말 실제적으로 카슈미르에서 어떤 일이 일어난지, 그리고 사실 그러한 그 정치 지도자들의 결정이 얼마나 많은 사람들에게 폐해를 주고 있는지에 대해서 구체적으로 설명해 주셨습니다. 그리고 또 해결책으로는 잠무 카슈미르에게 주어진 협법적 결의를 다시 복원시키고 수감된 사람들도 해방시키고, 특히 소극적 평화에서 더 나아가서 적극적 평화라고 얘기할 수 있는 사회, 정치, 경제적인 권리를 해결할 수 있도록 많은 사람들, 그리고 특히나 국제사회뿐만 아니라 전 세계의 시민들이 힘과 목소리를 모으는 것이 굉장히 중요할 수 있을 것이다 라고 하는 제안을 해주셨습니다. 그래서 연대를 함께 하는 것이 저희에게도 굉장히 중요한 과제가 되지 않을까 싶습니다. 자, 그러면 이제 두 분의 말씀을 듣고 또 우리 남부원 사무총장님께서 두 분 말씀과 관련해서 또 토론을 해주실 수 있으실 것 같습니다. 남부원 사무총장님께 마이크를 넘기도록 하겠습니다.
네, 감사합니다. 조영미 선생님. 제가 그 주최 측으로부터 아마 발제자가 두 분이 영어로 하셨기 때문에 영어로 토론을 간략해달라는 요청을 받아서 지금부터 영어로 발표하게 됨을, 짧은 영어로 발표하게 됨을 양해해 주시기 바랍니다. Thank you so much, both presenters, Father Dr. James Channan and Miss Qutub Jahan. I think I mispronounced your name. Please excuse for your informative and very challenging presentations. In fact, I was very much saddened when I read the two papers written by the two presenters from India and Pakistan. And as a human being coming from a similar painful national situation, a divided nation because of this hegemonic struggle between the two power blocks at the start of the Cold War system, I strongly felt, in the English term, misery loves company, or in my wording slightly differently, suffering loves company. Yes, we truly are in the same struggling boat, and that the plight and the huge suffering of Kashmir people, as you both presented in your paper, is really alarming and gives a very painful heart in all our listeners, and also those who are actively working for peace building and conflict resolutions in every corner of Asia and the world. After reading and learning from your presentations, I'd like to mention 4 points. Of course, I have no solution to give, but as some principles and values that we should be able to pursue together, I'd like to mention 4 points for our pursuit of the plausible solutions to this conflict. First, historical roots. I'd like to point out that the long prolonged division and conflict of Jammu and Kashmir, like the conflicts in Palestine, Israel, and North Korea, has its roots in the colonial history. I mean, colonial days are over, but the legacy and deep-rooted colonial, past still lingering all around the third world, struggling to develop with people's resolution, peaceful and more equal and just nation and country. This historical legacy, most of which are negative and detrimental to the colonialized people, should be revisited and thoroughly analyzed in order to really come up with viable solutions to resolve these conflicts. Secondly, I'd like to mention self-determination. The principle of self-determination cannot be overemphasized. This principle must be adhered to when identifying and agreeing on plausible solutions. In case of the Korean Peninsula peace process, we recognize more and more that this self-determination, not relying on the mercy or goodwill of the superpowers, is the only way to move forward the peace-building process. In other words, democratic and collective will of the people must be respected above all other factors to make a decision on the future of a nation and country, as both of you has emphasized in your presentation. Thirdly, I'd like to also mention religion and politics. You would agree with me that one of the root cause of the prolonged conflicts is religious intolerance and exclusivism, in many cases manipulated by political powers to maintain or solidify their grip of power. For example, you mentioned that BJP of India, how they manipulate and mobilize one religion to oppress another minority and then justify their extension and gripping of the power in every policy matters. That is why we need to activate interfaith dialogue and cooperation for peace building and working together for public good, including this conflict resolution. Mahatma Gandhi once said, I clearly remember in his book, all the true religions will meet in their deepest. We need to share this conviction among the people of different religions and faith. If this conviction could be widely shared, I believe religion and faith could play a proactive role in resolving ongoing conflicts in many parts of the world. Lastly, but importantly, I want to mention the UN role. We saw through your presentations that UN in different departments and agencies has long been engaged in the process of conflict resolution and bring harmony and peace in Kashmir and Jammu. But still, in my view, the UN's role is very important still, but not enough at all. As witnessed in many historical cases, and currently as well, its function and role are sometimes weak, sometimes disappointing, and sometimes sided with or influenced by the so-called superpowers. In this respect, we should be able to build a strong alliance and solidarity among diverse peace movements around the world to hold UN into accountability and its original mission of bringing lasting peace in the world. I'd like to finish my discussion by posing to ourselves a critical challenge. That is, how can we build a strong and interactive solidarity and alliance among all peace movements and bring peace forces to the conflict areas? For example, how those peace forces working for Korean Peninsula peace process can bring this force into a positive intervention in Kashmir conflicts, likewise, and vice versa. And the Asia and Pacific Alliance of YMCAs, where I'm working at, is currently attempting to help build this solidarity alliance with like-minded peace-building NGOs in Asia, and maybe really probably in the future beyond Asia. Sooner or later, I wish to invite all of you and your organizations to join this network in the spirit of mutual support and engagement and collective peace-building endeavor, wherever reconciliation, conflict resolution, and peace-building are called for. Thank you very much.
네, 감사합니다. 남보원 총장님. 네, 시간을 또 너무나 잘 지켜주시고 가장 중요한 4가지를 저희에게 굉장히 중요하게 말씀해 주셔서 특히나 뭐 각각 국가의 역할, 그리고 시민들의 역할, 그리고 유엔의 역할, 그리고 자결권이 얼마나 중요한지 그것을 실현하기 위해서 노력해야 되는 민의 중요성 또한 강조해 주신 것 같습니다. 네, 그리고 또 연대를 위해서 실제적으로 실천하고 계시는 것을 준비하고 계시는 것을 통해서 여기 계신 모든 분들을 초청하려고 하시는데요. 저희도 함께 나아갔으면 좋겠다라고 하는 생각을 하게 됩니다. 자, 그러면 여러분들이 질문도 있으시고 코멘트도 있으실 텐데요. 제가 특별히 몇 분을 먼저 그 코멘트를 부탁드리려고 합니다. 우선 김기리 선생님 짧게 오늘 발제 들으시고 코멘트 함께 나눠주실 수 있으실까요?
네, 안녕하세요. 잘 들리시나요?
네, 잘 들립니다.
네, 안녕하세요. 대한성공회 그리고 CCA에 몸담고 있는 김기리 사제라고 합니다. 남보원 총재님께서 말씀하신 거하고 많이 겹치는 부분도 있어서 이게 모두가 느끼는 현실이구나라는 생각도 좀 들고요. 아니면 같이 일했던 시간들 속에서 내가 선생님 많이 닮아갔나 보다라는 생각도 들고 지금 그렇게 생각하면서 말씀을 들었는데요. 일단 이 한반도 문제에 머물지 않고 분단으로 인해 힘들어하는 아시아 다른 곳에도 관심을 가져주시는 국경선 평화학교에 감사를 드리고요. 그리고 카슈미르 상황을 자세하게 알려주신 자한 선생님과 찬난 박사님께 감사를 드립니다. 저희에게 들려주시기 위해 상황을 정리하실 때 그 무거운 심정들이 다시 막 솟구치셨을 것 같은데 그 마음들의 위로도 전해드리고 싶습니다. 유엔 결의가 가끔 분단국 당사자들에게 되려 방해가 되고 독이 될 때가 있다고 생각을 합니다만 그래도 중요한 기구죠. 개인적으로 2016년에 CCA하고 파키스탄 교회 대표단이 국제사회와 유엔에 이제 파키스탄 평화를 위한 솔리데리티를 호소하기 위해 제네바를 같이 방문했었는데요. 그때 카슈미르도 언급을 했었어요. 지금까지도 상황이 달라지지 않았다는 점이 가슴이 아프고요. 그리고 자한 선생님께서 말씀을 하셨는데 평화를 이루기 어려워 보인다는 말씀이 저는 지금 오늘 정말 너무 마음이 아픈 그런 상태입니다. 카슈미르, 파키스탄, 인도 뭐 누구 하나 양보할 수 없는 지점에 지금 국경선을 마주한 중국도 끼어들고 있는 상황으로 알고 있습니다. 영토 분쟁이 본격적으로 일어나면서 인도는 미국과 중국은 파키스탄과 각각 손을 잡은 것으로 알고 있는데요. 이런 상황 속에서 핵개발 문제까지 또 이어지고 있는 것으로 압니다. 단순한 양국 간의 영토 분쟁 지역을 넘어서 양국의 동맹 관계까지 영향을 주기 때문에 국제사회에서도 큰 주목을 하고 있는 것으로 아는데요. 이 부분 또한 한국과 비슷한 부분이 많지 않나는 생각을 합니다. 저는 사실 분단 상태였을 때 독일에서도 살았고 분단된 한국에서도 살고 있는 사람으로서 갈라진 땅에 살고 있는 사람들의 염원이 어디 있느냐가 중요한 문제라고 생각을 합니다. 한 나라를 식민 통치했던 나라가 물러났다고 해서 그 나라가 정말 독립을 한 것일까 하는 질문을 우리나라 그리고 사실 한국 교회를 보면서도 자주 갖는 생각인데 남부원 선생님도 같은 말씀을 아까 해주셔서 네, 저도 다시 한번 그 생각이 떠올랐습니다. 오전 세션 때 송영훈 교수님께서 접경지대에 대해서 말씀을 해주셨잖아요. 접경선은 우리 마음에 있는 것이 아닐까 하는 생각이 들었습니다. 그리고 카슈미르 분쟁은 종교적인 요인에서 비롯되었다는 것을 오늘도 발제자님들께서 다 말씀을 해주셨는데 이 부분에서도 종교가 갖는 힘을 알 수 있잖아요. 저희가 이 종교의 힘이 다시 분단과 갈등을 치유하는 힘을 발휘할 수 있기를 기도하고 있습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다. 사실은 정말 분단의 상황에서 살고 있는 상황이기 때문에 또 선생님이 독일에서도 사시고 또 한국에서의 경험이 있으시기 때문에 다른 나라의 어떤 분단과 분쟁이라고 하는 것이 남의 이야기가 아닌 것 같다는 생각이 많이 들었습니다. 울먹이시는 목소리에서 하루빨리 서로를 위해서 우리의 마음의 분단선을 지워내는 일들을 우리가 함께 해야 되겠다라고 하는 생각이 들었습니다. 제가 두 번째 코멘트를 조금 받고 싶은데요. 오늘 여기 오신 분 중에 성공회대학교에서 오신 코니 선생님이 계십니다. 코니 선생님께 제가 잠깐 발언 부탁드리겠습니다.
I am British and have been living in UK. I have been living in Korea for 2 years now. Many of the discussions today have included the impact of the British Empire and colonialization. I thought it would be important what, if any, role the countries such as the UK and the US should have, or which responsibilities they should relinquish in order to progress and pursue peace in these. For example, I think education and updated historical texts would be very important, because for me, even today, I learned a lot of information that I didn't know and that I wasn't taught about in school. That many schools teach the history of colonization as a positive thing. The colonization only brought technology and the term civilization to India, when in fact India was already its own nation, and it wasn't our right to take India. And as a result of that, there is now conflict. So maybe updating nationwide education would be a key factor. But I think the most important step would be calling influential governments to know when to step back, to know when to let go, because the longer they hang on, it causes more damage. Thank you very much for your presentation. I've very much enjoyed learning.
네, 고맙습니다. 네, 우선은 교육 그리고 제대로 된 역사를 갖는 것, 그러니까 양쪽의 균형성을 갖는 역사 교육의 주의가 얼마나 중요한가라고 하는 것들을 강조해 주셨습니다. 혹시 지금 여기에 참여하고 계신 선생님들께서 혹시 코멘트 해주시거나 그리고 발제자분들께 질문이 있으시면 우리 함께 나누는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. 어느 분이 코멘트 해주실 수 있으실까요? 코멘트나 질문 부탁드립니다. 혹시 코멘트하고 질문을 하실 분은요, 소거를 하시고, 네네, 그리고 말씀해 주시면 됩니다. 우선 제가 정치석 박사님 먼저 초대하도록 하겠습니다. 소거를 해제해 주시고. 잠시만요, 안 들려서요. 네. 소거를 해제해 주시고. 네.
마이크.
네, 지금 말씀하시면 들려요.
감사합니다. 우리 셰난 박사님, 파키스탄, 그리고 큐튜브 선생님, from India. 아주 좋은 정보와 카슈미르 분쟁에 대해서 어떻게 해결이 돼야 될지 쭉 역사적인 그 발표를 해주셔서 감사합니다. 제가 간단하게 좀 질문하고 싶은 거는 이 카슈미르 분쟁을 해결하기 위해서 또 그런 부분에 대해서 문제 해결을 위해서 셰난 박사님, 큐튜브 선생님 실천하고 있는 활동들이 있을 거라고 봅니다. 그런 아주 구체적인 실천 행동이 어떤 것이 지금 좀 계획되고 또 해왔는지 좀 얘기를 해주셨으면 감사하겠습니다.
네. 질문에 대해서 어느 분이 먼저 답변해 주시겠어요? 셰난 박사님께 먼저 마이크 드리겠습니다.
May I respond to the question?
네, 부탁드립니다.
Since we are trying our best to connect with all those peace activists in Kashmir Valley, and especially young scholars and young journalists who are not been able to relay those information outside Kashmir Valley, and in a way we want them to show that we are in solidarity with your problems, because many outside Kashmir, like in my region in India, like Mumbai or southern or northern part of Mumbai, many organizations are holding workshops and solidarity rally to restore peace in Kashmir. Yes, we have double challenge in our part, because our challenge is our own government right now. So we are strategizing our steps so that we are able to have a peaceful connectivity with the people in Kashmir. And yes, in our online workshops and Zoom calls, we invite them to speak to our audience. So this is the very first thing we are trying, because since lockdown, and I don't know, free expression is also taken under sedition law. So we are very careful and we are strategizing our steps. And yes, we are trying to bring more and more people to understand the entire conflict before, using social media for or against. So that is how we are trying to invite these experts and scholars for Kashmiris and who are outside Kashmir or even within Kashmir Valley. Yeah, thank you.
감사합니다. 자, 그러면은 우리 제임스 챗난 박사님 말씀 나눠주실 수 있을까요?
Thank you. Would you please tell me the question? I didn't follow in Korean. What is the question?
फादर आप है ना देखिए वो इंटरप्रिटेशन वाला एक आइकॉन है नीचे लाइन में, उसमें इंग्लिश क्लिक कीजिएगा तो आपको इंग्लिश इंटरप्रिटेशन मिल जाएगा.
तो क्या सवाल क्या है इनका?
ये सवाल कर रहे हैं कि हम कौन से ऐसे पीस एफर्ट्स ले रहे हैं, ये जो हालात है इनके बीच में इस तरह के पीस एफर्ट्स ले रहे हैं. और आपके देखिए वो आइकॉन में इंटरप्रिटेशन वाला गोल राउंड आइकॉन होगा, इंटरप्रिटेशन वाला.
अच्छा चलो ठीक है.
स्क्रीन पर ही है.
Okay. Thank you very much. What I gather, that what are the peace efforts which we are making in Pakistan. And as I have also shared in my speech and from Pakistani perspective, that we are always looking forward that there should be peaceful solution of the Kashmir issue, because it's going on since so many years. And there are many peace movements in Pakistan which are supporting a peaceful solution of Kashmir. For example, I have mentioned our peace center. We have programs here. Then URI is in Pakistan, and then Pakistan Ulama Council and several other organizations are here who don't like to have war with India, because both are nuclear powers, and if either Pakistan or India will make a mistake and allow to use atom bombs, both countries will end within minutes. And we have the example of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that when bombs were dropped over there. So I would say that Kashmir is a very burning issue, and Kashmir has diverted our attention of both governments, I would say, instead of having betterment of the people, having healthcare of the people, focusing on education. This situation of Pakistan and India, it also affects the whole region of Asia. And people of both countries, they are suffering immensely. If something happens in Pakistan or something happens in India, there's a blame game. So anything bad going on in India, they will blame Pakistan. Anything going bad in Pakistan, they will be blaming India. There may be some hidden agenda both sides, but it is really very, very terrible. So here I see, as very beautifully said by Bu Van Nam, that United Nations has to play a very important role. What's the use of United Nations if it cannot implement its resolutions? The resolutions which were made in 1948 and 49, and afterwards again, Security Council have been making resolutions, but no solution has come. So with regard to India and Pakistan, the Kashmir issue, unfortunately, I find that UN has not played its important role, but somehow or the other, no firm power of the United Nations have been used to solve this issue. However, as a peace promoter, I always look forward that someday there may be hope, but so far the situation of Kashmir is really very, very painful, because from August 2019 that people are under lockdown. They are not allowed to move around. The schools are closed. The internet service is closed. The people are not allowed to go out and not go to the hospitals or even schools and so on. It is really very, very miserable and painful situation. Therefore, I appeal to all those who are listening to this conference from all over the world, please play your role as human rights activists, a promoter of peace and promoter of interfaith harmony, so that both countries, they should come at some point, including representatives of Kashmir, to solve this issue of Kashmir. If this issue is solved, there will be a lot of prosperity both in India and in Pakistan.
네, 감사합니다. 네, 여러 가지 활동을 해주신 것을 공유해 주셨는데요. 사실은 하나하나 저희도 같이 실천해 보면 좋을 것 같다 생각이 들었어요. 우선은 제가 여러 선생님들께 부탁을 드려도 될지 모르겠지만 오늘 사실은 카슈미르와 분쟁에 관련해서 새롭게 알게 된 것이 있으시다면 여러분의 SNS에서 저희 피스 컨퍼런스에서 이런 이야기들이 나누어졌고 사실 우리가 카슈미르에 있는 그 주민들을 위해서 함께 기도해야 되고 그리고 함께 연대해야 된다라고 하는 메시지를 본인의 SNS에 좀 올려주시면 좋을 것 같다라고 하는 생각이 들고요. 그리고 그러니까 두 국가의 모든 사람들이 함께 만나서 서로의 이해를 도모할 수 있도록 하는 것을 우리가 또 유엔에 제안하는 그러한 애드보커시도 같이 할 수 있지 않을까 싶습니다. 제가 한 분 정도 더 질문이나 코멘트 받을 수 있을 것 같습니다. 혹시 어느 분이 해주실까요? 네. 없으신가요? 네네. 네. 그러면 저희 오늘 발제해 주신 두 분과 토론자이신 남보원 총장님께
I would like to suggest.
네네.
I would like to suggest that we should have many more such kind of conferences, and we should raise this issue in our countries and at the world level. And I thank the South Korea for taking this initiative and for bringing us together. Certainly, our voices, our suggestions will be heard, and I hope that it will make positive impact on both governments of Pakistan and India, and that also people of Kashmir will find some comfort by our coming together and by letting them that we are concerned and we want you to live in peace, as there are 8 million people or so in Kashmir. They are suffering immensely. So I will say, let's keep on having such conferences from time to time.
네, 감사합니다. 굉장히 중요한 말씀 해주신 것 같습니다. 사실 컨퍼런스가 가지고 있는 의미는 모르고 있었던 것들을 새롭게 아는 그런 기회를 주기도 하고 더 나아가서 각자의 연대를 또 높일 수 있는 그런 기회를 또 주는 그런 시간이 아닐까 생각합니다. 그래서 그런 의미에서 이러한 컨퍼런스를 지속적으로 해나갔으면 좋겠고요. 그 국경선 평화학교에서 이런 컨퍼런스를 주최해 주시는 것 자체가 얼마나 중요한 일인지라고 하는 것을 다시 한번 생각할 수 있는 시간이었던 것 같습니다. 자, 그러면 제가 세 분께 딱 1분씩 들을 수 있을 것 같습니다. 그래서 마지막 코멘트를 부탁드립니다. 그러면 제임스 챗난 박사님부터 1분 마지막 발언 해주시기 부탁드립니다.
I will say that it has been very, very enriching experience for me to be the part of this international conference, and I congratulate Dr. Young and his team and Peace Border School for bringing us together. And what I have heard from Qutub and from Bu Nam and others, I find that this Kashmir, the issue of Kashmir and India-Pakistan relations have been very well presented, and there is a very true picture of which is presented in this international conference. And also it gives us a challenge that how we can play our important role in this crisis in this humanitarian crisis which are going on in Kashmir for the past so many years, for 73 years right now to be exact. And also I am convinced, I also presented in my paper, that the role of United Nations is of prime importance. Maybe we can also ask our governments from whatever the country we come from South Korea or other countries who are participating in this conference, that we urge our governments to raise this issue at the United Nations. and also request them, please solve this problem, because you have the power to do so, and you are the largest organization of the countries in the world. And secondly, I also want to say that we need to teach and practice respect for the people of all religions, and not to persecute them or discriminate them in the name of religion. This is what we are seeing, and which is not right. All are human beings. All are one family. Then why they should be discrimination in the name of religion or ethnicity or color or gender? No, all of us have important role to play to make this group a family, to treat others as our brothers and sisters. And as there is golden rule in all religions and spiritual traditions, for example, in Christianity, do unto others what you want them to do unto you. So this is found in all religions, in Islam, in Buddhism, in Taoism, in Confucianism, in Judaism, you name a religion, and this principle is there. How nice it will be that if we act upon this golden rule, and wherever we are, certainly we will have more respect for other people, and we will feel their problem, our problem, and that we become agents of peace and harmony and tolerance and respect. And here I would say that there are many organizations in the world who are working for this, although at times there are challenges, there are difficulties, even from the governments, but doesn't matter. If there is darkness, we should light a candle of hope, and candle of tolerance and respect. And I have mentioned in my speech also there are several organizations working in the world, like Vyakoshinkokai, Goy Peace Foundation, Symphony of Peace Prayer, World Peace Prayer Society, and KAISED, and Pontifical Council for Interreligious Dialogue, and commissions on different levels which are established by the government. So I would say let's keep on united and keep on doing our best for universal peace, and especially in these three conflict areas of Israel and Palestine, North and South Korea, Pakistan and India. And thank you very much for listening to me and for giving this opportunity.
네, 고맙습니다. 네, 그러면은 우리 쿠투브 선생님, 네.
Thank you. This was a very important learning experience for me since morning, because there were so many new theories which I learned. Maybe like we are using in our practical, activist life, but understand that nuance of having this peace building measures, and how we can develop. Like in the morning session, I came to learn about integration competency, reconciliation competency, and peace competency, which I thought like it's very important to inculcate these things, in our peace building measures. And yes, for me, it was a very big platform to share the Kashmir conflict, because so far I was not very open about this issue, but now since lockdown, we are more like vocal, especially the Peace Network in India, who are all for human rights and solidarity with the Kashmiris. So we have decided to accept such invitation, and also to amplify the message of peace and reconciliation for the Kashmiris, on behalf of Kashmiris, I would say. So thank you so much for providing me this opportunity, especially to Father James Channan. Yes, he has been one of my inspirational figure since I joined this interfaith movement since 2009. Father James Channan and myself also work for India-Pakistan peace process, and we make sure that we engage more and more people to visit each other and have more people-to-people contact. So we are also working together on the issues of interfaith in the subcontinent, you can say. So yes, thank you so much to Border Peace School, the organizer, Mr. Chinjali, for giving me this opportunity. In fact, it's an honor to listen to all the speakers and also to the wisdom it has given to all of us, during all these sessions. I think I'm very grateful and deep appreciation to each one of you. Thank you so much.
네, 고맙습니다. 자, 이제 마지막으로 우리 남부원 총장님 말씀 듣도록 하겠습니다. 제가 딱 1분 드리도록 할게요. 1분 맞춰서 말씀해 주세요.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll try to be short. Actually, it is my first time to listen to from both of you that in a very concrete way, to analyze this issue. So, like all of you, I think I already feel this. We are networking. Our networking already started. I already feel very close to the suffering and pain of the Kashmir people in my heart. I'm sure you do too. So I think we should meet again and again, and as applicable as possible, we should bring this critical agenda to all possible platforms, as our facilitator suggested. And then, actually, I was about to ask both of you, what kind of solidarity and support in a very detailed and concrete way do you want from us who are devoting to Korean peace process and Palestinian-Israel peace process? But hopefully, we can discuss it more in a concrete way and more strategic way, how we can support each other in a concrete way between these three conflicting areas. That is why we must meet again. Thank you very much.
네, 감사합니다. 자, 오늘의 발언을 통해서요, 사실은 우리 모두가 그 분쟁 지역에서 미디에이터가 돼야 되고, 퍼실리에이터로서의 책무성을 가지고 그러한 시민의 역할을 충실히 해나가야 된다라고 하는 것을 좀 알게 됐던 것 같습니다. 사실은 제가 굉장히 존경하는 글로리아 스타이넘이 한 이야기가 있거든요. 나무는 위에서 자라지 않고 아래에서 위로 자란다는 겁니다. 그래서 모든 시민들의 노력과 희망과 염원들이 모여져서 나무의 열매가 맺을 수 있도록 우리가 함께 노력하고 연대하는 것이 굉장히 중요하다. 그런 의미에서 우리가 모두 연결되어져 있다. 그래서 다음번에 모임을 우리가 기약하면서 저희 세션을 마무리하도록 하고요. 제가 세션 마무리하기 전에 감사 인사를 좀 드려야 될 것 같습니다. 우리의 이야기를 또 한국어로 영어로 정말로 전혀 불편함 없이 통역해 주신 두 분이 계시거든요. 제가 한 분의 성함은 아는데 한 분의 성함은 잘 몰라요. 어쨌든 남부원 총장님과 굉장히 친밀감이 있으신 남원미 통역사님과 그와 함께 하시는 파트너분께 우리 큰 박수 한번 보내드렸으면 좋겠습니다. 저희가 사실은 5분 늦게 시작했고 10분을 인사 나누는 시간을 써서 정확하게 1시간 30분을 썼거든요. 그렇지만 그래도 조금 쉬시고 다음 세션을 해야 될 텐데 남북 그리고 우리 파키스탄과 일본, 카슈미르 그리고 이스라엘과 팔레스타인 평화를 위해서 우리가 함께 마지막까지 함께 해주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 잠깐 쉬고 다시 만나도록 하겠습니다. 이 세션에서 열심히 참여해 주셔서 감사합니다. 감사합니다. 네, 세션은 언제? 네. 15분 뒤에 저희가 세션을 같이 진행하도록 하겠고요. 예, 저는 지금까지 사회를 본 여성평화운동 네트워크의 조영미입니다. 감사합니다, 선생님.